Ah, doesn't that look nice? That's the bathroom ceiling that I painted the other day. If you didn't watch that video, you probably should check that out. I've got 2 coats of nice white semi-gloss paint up there because the existing walls where it's a tan color, 1 coat just wasn't cutting it. What's this video about anyways? This is all about just how to install paint on your walls with a mini roller. We're not going to talk about cutting in up at the ceiling, cutting in the top edge of the wall, cutting in around the tile, around the tub surrounds, cutting in around the cabinet and all that kind of stuff, or the door frame. All we're concerned about right now, all I am concerned about right now is my next step of the project. Take your project in mini steps, M-I-N-I. Mini steps. See, I got my construction light here because I've already got my light fixture disconnected. I got my mirror out of here. I got my towel bar out of here. And incidentally, that was an older style towel bar, about 17 years old. It was kind of chrome finished, but it was plastic with chrome finished, so to speak. And we didn't really want that one. We're gonna change it out anyways to a different one, and the height of it is probably going to change. That's why I went ahead and patched those and everything, and I already put primer on all of the different patches everywhere. You'll have to watch the previous video of that, and I'm gonna just show you and kind of explain to you what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get set up for rolling out these walls. That's all this video is about. If you want to check it out, stick around. Now I'm not even going to get into the paint yet, okay? Slap dash, get into the paint, start going and not have yourself set up. Nothing doing. I'm just not going to do that, okay? I am going to take it one step at a time. And first I had to decide what kind of paint roller to use, what kind of little mini frame to use. I'm going to use a 6-inch mini roller. And this one here is designed for a 4-inch and 6.5 or 6.5 inch mini roller. Here's my mini roller, and I use this one for the ceiling. I'm going to use it for here too. Notice it's got a big hole on the end. That's because it fits in there. When I first bought these, I didn't look at the very end because I used to use mini rollers with just a small dinky little hole. Then you have to use a different one of these where the end is just this piece here. They ended up designing this in such a way where it's still like the regular one, and then it just has this little piece on the end. I don't think you can even pull that out and swap it back and forth. That would be kind of slick if they could, huh? But I don't think they do. I've never tried to pull this off. You know, jerking this off, this thing's hasn't come off, and so you've got to decide that first. If you have the other kind, you go to the store, get the one with the small little hole there. But I'm gonna roll this whole thing out with a 6-inch mini roller. Yeah, I don't need a big, heavy 9-inch paint frame and a 9-inch roller cover. It's going to be really difficult to get it in all the nooks and crannies and around the light fixture, around the toilet, around the areas by the cabinet, around over there by the tile, around here where the light switches are and all that kind of stuff, and up above the door, and trying not to hit the ceiling or the tiles or the baseboard. The baseboard is tile. That tile, they just zipped it around there. They used that same thing as baseboard. That was kind of slick. They did that years ago. Okay, so I've got to decide. First off, I got to decide which one to use. And you see, I could probably. I'm gonna set up this this extension, tripod right here. I'll just leave it kind of like that. Okay. And I first had to decide which one of these to use. I could use this one here. I got it a little low. Okay. All right. I can't use this one. Okay, these ceilings up here are only 8 foot tall, and maybe I can use this And you know, I can reach the ceiling with that, and I think I'm going to do that. I have a broom handle, and lots of times I use that in bathrooms, you know. And if the ceiling was 10 feet tall or 9 feet tall, this small one wouldn't do it, would it? Unless I got my my little step ladder out and then went up and down, and I could do it. I could do it with just this, with this ladder, if I did that. Or if I used, if these were 9-foot ceilings or 10-foot ceilings, and I only had this and I wanted to use it this way, I could do it this way. But see, with this broom handle, lots of times your bathroom walls, you don't have enough room. Now this one, actually, look at that. I have barely enough room. So if this was 9-foot ceilings or 10-foot ceilings, I can still go straight up all the way without the end of the broom handle hitting the other wall. Okay? So I guess I could use this if I want. Now, if I didn't have that, let's say this bathroom was a little bit more narrow and I couldn't use this, and there were 9-foot ceilings or something, what else could you do? If you had a toilet plunger, you could use that little handle. You know, it sticks out yay far. It's got threads on the end. Unscrew the end and put it in there, and you've got a handle coming out this far. Now they have extension pole, extendable paint handles that are designed for hallways. I don't have one of those. I should eventually get one of those for my hallways. I use my extension, my broom handle, and I would go from here down, you know, and then I'd have to flip this around like that, and then go from here up. You know, it gets kind of tiring after a while. Okay, and so if I had a painter's extension, just one of the small ones, and then you can still adjust that a little bit, and it ends up being about this long, adjusting, and then you can get it a little bit smaller. If you don't have that, you can get something like this, and I forgot I even had this. See this? That's the same. It's the same as this other one, but it extends out a little bit. Now, see, you can get either one at the store. I have never used this because I've never had a need for it. I used to have one like this, but just this thick all the way here, and then I would use it for a 6-inch mini roller, and then you can do that. Boop, 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 boop. After a while, you just have to be real careful because sometimes you have to kind of put a little pressure on it as you go, you know, because this is only so stiff. It bends just a hair after a while. But see, in this ceiling, I could do that if I wanted, okay? And I was thinking I was gonna do this. Then I thought, if I'm on my tippy toes, 9-foot ceiling, I can get it with this, but I didn't really realize I could get it with this. So I think it's gonna be a combination of the two. I can unscrew this and use this, but it cracks me up. The HGTV stations where you see guys painting with just the 9-inch painter's frame and a 9-inch roller, and they're trying to paint the whole wall like this. You never want to do that, okay? Even if you can reach the ceiling, you always are way better off having the pole on there, broom handle or the painter's extension handle, whatever, okay? And so now I've got to think about this a little bit and see how I'm going to keep the paint off the ceiling. Okay, that's what I want to show you next. Now see, because this is a small bathroom, I can kind of flip stuff around and take a little bit of extra time, because that's all my project's going to be, is painting this little bathroom. And all I've got to do is concentrate on a small section of the walls. I'm not going to worry about cutting in the ceiling today, cutting in any walls or around the door frame. I'm only concerned about getting paint on the walls, okay? And if that's all I get done today, that's all I get done today. I'm not in that big of a rush, okay? So, on the ceiling from before, I ran my paint frame sideways. As long as you don't get any paint on the edge of that, you can just run it along there. And that's what I did at the ceiling. I've got about a 3/4 inch gap all the way around the ceiling. I'm going to have to cut in. And for the walls, you know, I could get up here and I could do that around this whole thing if I want. Just getting up here on my little ladder and, you know, just run it across here. I can't really do that along where the tile is because the tile doesn't stick out far enough. But I could do that instead of this way. If you do it this way, you can only get so close before you start tagging this. You can do it like this. I could close my eyes and paint this knowing that I've got about a 3/4 inch gap there. The other thing I can do is if I have it on my paint extension, I go up there and then just try to go up as close as I can, you know, without hitting the ceiling. And it makes it kind of difficult if you have a 9-inch paint frame and a 9-inch roller cover, you know, and if it's a 3/4 inch nap or 1-inch nap or something like that on the roller cover, it makes it really difficult to get up there without hitting the ceiling. I don't really want to hit the ceiling. So see, I'm pretty good this way, and I could do it that way if I want. Okay, so either way, I could do it like that. And then, you know, I've got to do around the cabinet. The cabinet, I can do it the same way around the cabinet. You know, down on the edge of the cabinet, over in there, and I could just put it up sideways. I just have to make sure not to get any paint on this frame. If you're not watching it when you're dipping your paint, you can get this in there. So, you know, lots of times painters, they just paint out a 5-gallon bucket and they'll put a little bit of finished paint in there, and then you dip your roller in there with the paint frame and all that. But now, of course, you're going to be getting paint on this edge, and now you can't use that edge to run, you know, right along. See, I could run the right along the edge there too. See, if I just keep the paint off of here. If I see a little paint on there, I can take a rag or a cloth or a paper towel and wipe it off so I don't get it on this edge. And I can virtually do that around there. I can even do it around the toilet if I want, you know, without hitting it. Make sure you have your toilet cover off too. And so I'm gonna do that around the walls and stuff. And then when I get up to the tile, it's all about freehand. As I'm putting it up there, I'm just going to go slow as I go. I'll do most of the rolling over here so I don't get too much paint on the end of the roller, and then I can do that, you know, as close as you know, a 1/2 inch or 3/4 away from that. And then if I wanted to, before I start painting. And, you know, if you've never done it, if you're afraid that you're going to get some paint on there, you can take some masking tape. And you can run it along here and just run it on the wall, you know, a 1/4 inch or so. You don't have to be perfect right now. I don't really care. I'm not gonna do this lined up exactly right now. I will do that when I cut in using a paintbrush, but I'm only talking about, hey, I just want to blow and go and get these walls done. I don't want to have to spend too much time getting all my masking tape exactly perfect where the grout line is and all that kind of stuff. I can hold it on the wall a 1/4 inch if I want, like that, and run tape up there if I want to do that, so that when I get up here, I know I'm not going to hit anything at all. But I'm not going to do that. I think I'm good enough without having to do that. And see, on here. If I get paint on there, if I forget to wipe all that stuff off, I won't be able to do it that way, or else I'm going to get paint all over this. If you get paint on there, if you got a damp sponge, you can wipe it off. Okay, or you can use your masking tape again. Just hold it up on the sheetrock a little bit if you want, you know, and just leave it like that. And like I say, I'm not gonna mask this off perfect right now. I could mask it off perfect right now if I really, truly wanted to do that. I could do that right now, but because I'm not gonna do any of the cut-in today, it's getting late in the afternoon and all that. I just want to get the walls done, and then I'm going to spend some time putting the masking tape on and doing all that around the baseboard, around the tile, around the cabinet, all that kind of stuff, so that I can get it nice. But for right now, I don't have to do that. But I could still just leave this up here, you know. However, as I'm painting, I'm going to get the little droplets coming down, and that's why I got the craft paper on the counters. I got the craft paper down on the floor. I got the craft paper over the toilet seat. I ended up putting craft paper down in the tub when I was doing the ceiling. But see, I'm not going to be getting in there to do the wall now, am I? Because the tile goes all the way up to the ceiling. If the tile didn't go all the way up to the ceiling, and if there was a wall section there, let's say you're doing something like this and there's no shower and there's just a bathtub, let's say, and the tile only goes up yay far, then I would put skin that with masking tape all the way around the edge, have the craft paper down in the bottom to get all the little droplets of paint. You'd be surprised that you will get droplets. This is with putting 2 coats of paint on the ceiling. Okay, see all those small tiny droplets? That's what you're gonna get, okay? And that's what's gonna come down from this painting the wall today. So if you wanna put, if I wanna put masking tape, in fact, let me just, I can just put masking tape right on this. I don't like to waste my masking tape, but see, I can do it and run just boom boom and be done with it. Or, like I said, I can leave it, wipe that off with a sponge with that when I get done. You know what? I'm gonna do that when I get done. And then if you forget before you start cutting in, or after you get done cutting in, if you got the paint droplets on there, maybe it doesn't come off as easily with a sponge, a scouring pad, and maybe you just have to use your little razor blade. It'll come off of that, and you'll be able to see it because it's a dark countertop. I'm not going to do anything with that, okay? What else do I need to do before getting the paint out? Well, I know I need to take these 2 cover plates off. I'll take the cover plates off, put masking tape over the switch there. I mean, and if I really wanted to, just for right now, I could take a piece of masking tape and just do this from here to there, because I know I could just do that and be done with it, you know, like that. And then put a little piece there. At least when the paint comes down and the droplets come down, it's not going to get all over the switch. Because the only bit of wall right here I can do with the roller is right here. Hardly anything. And right like that. You know what I mean? So if you wanted to leave this up and just do that and put the piece over there and let it stick over and let it just kind of hang out like that, you could do that if you want. But I'm gonna take the cover plates off. Okay, and then the only other thing I'm gonna do before I get into the paint, see that that water valve for the toilet. See how when they installed that, they installed a rather long piece. They could have installed a smaller one or something, and it's got a little bit of a flex, and it's getting ready to hit the wall there. I could put some masking tape on the back side of that, you know, and do it that way, or I can hold that out. I can hold that out with my hand and get underneath there and go as far as I can with my roller. And maybe I'll end up doing that. And see, I'll just get around here with my roller as close as I can, and I'll do everything right here. I'll just do it without the painter extension pole on there. And I'll just get as far as I can with the roller cover, and that's it. You see what I mean? I don't really have to do too much. I'll put a couple pieces of masking tape here and there, and that's pretty much it. Because I'm good enough to where I'm not going to be tagging that. I'm not going to be tagging the ceiling. I'm not going to be tagging the door casing. I'm not going to be tagging the top edge of the cabinet here where the backsplash is. Okay, and so I really don't have to do much. If anything, the only thing I'm going to do, like I say, is I'm going to take those cover plates off, and then I'll probably put some masking tape over these switches and the plug, and be ready to go. Okay. All right. So now I'm getting ready to get into the paint. I'm going to talk about that very briefly, so stick around.